So you were saying?
My mom had a birthday, and so the family got together for dinner, and I told a story about all the comic books that I put on my tablet to read when we were on a trip, and that I went on a trip we went with a couple other couples, and I was talking about one of the comic books I had on my tablet, and somebody else on this same trip had that same comic book. Not a great story, but kind of weird. And then during the course, during just the normal general conversation, my brother sort of pointed out that he's reading like the classics of literature. So everybody starts talking about Dostoevsky and, all these great works of literature. And I'm sitting there feeling all stupid because I was talking about reading comic books. And then a few days before that, Jackie and I had gone to a movie. We had gone and seen The Exterminating Angel. But The Exterminating Angel was fucking awesome, and we loved it.
I bet. I've got the Criterion.
Yeah, and I didn't say anything to Jackie about it because I don't want to spoil. I always want her to just, I didn't want to tell her what it was about even, really.
Right.
But we both had this same effect and of it feeling this, it's oppressively, trapped. Like she said on the way back to the car, there's a little parking ramp, we were in the stairs, she said she felt like we were trapped in there for a second. This movie does that.
Claustrophobic,
very claustrophobic, and that is what is happening in the movie.
Yeah.
So then at dinner, I turned to her and I said, because everybody said, well, we got to get going, but nobody got up and nobody left. And I said, look, it's happening. We're actually in the movie right now. And then I turned to all these people, these intellectuals in my family that I thought were looking down at me for reading comic books. And I said, we just watched the movie Exterminating Angel. Do you guys know that one? And nobody knew. I'm like, Buñuel, nobody even knows who the fuck that is. That's it. Well, I think there was a point to that story. Was that the point of that story?
I don't know.
What were we talking about? The Exterminating Angel. I don't remember why I was bringing it up.
Yeah, see, my family, no one would know who, like, Dostoevsky is.
But they'd all know Buñuel?
No, they would all know
comic books?
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, your turn.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Lord.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Power! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I am Thom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and this is minute 30 of the movie Ghost of Frankenstein by Earl C. Kenton Jr.? No, Sir Earl C. Kenton Jr. the third. What happens in this movie?
I don't even know anymore.
No
sooner does Igor lead Jr. off than Ludwig rushes in.
Yes, he has...
actually does rush.
He does, that's true.
Rush in and actually does rush to Kettering's body.
Yeah, it's an interesting moment for Hardwick. He's, or Pickwick, is it? Because he's obviously affected by the discovery of Kettering's corpse. Mm-hmm. And then she calls out to him and says, who is it?
Yep.
And then he says, it's Dr. Kettering.
Kettering.
He's actually having an emotion and slightly going through something.
Yes.
And he has, in my personal opinion, the look of shock of someone that is appropriate to that moment.
Oh, absolutely.
He doesn't have to start bawling right away, but he's clearly like, holy shit, look what the fuck is going on here.
What the fuck happened here? Yeah.
And then, within a second, you can watch his eyes as he sees the shadow behind Elsa. And then we cut back to Elsa, and indeed there is a shadow and the monster's coming. And it plays out perfectly.
Yep.
It's really well done.
Junior comes bumbling back into the scene behind Elsa.
The blocking, everything is perfect. We're not lost in it.
No, this is all very clear. It's very sharp.
Although, like you said, I guess, we don't know where they went. Where's Igor and where did they
go? It's just, I think, an excuse just to have this moment happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Fine.
So, actually, I guess this is something that we don't quite understand. Up until now, up until Ludwig comes in, so last week when we were talking about it, we were talking about a little hallway that has a door going to the outside that Junior busted in because he saw that little piece go fly. And then in that space is Kettering.
Right.
And a door in the distance.
I think the door that they're at is the door to the laboratory.
I agree. And then there must be another door that goes to that office where
or at least into the main house.
Oh, that's true.
Adjacent to that office.
Yeah, there's a way to get to that office.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't have to be that door.
Right.
In
Because I don't
fact,
think it probably isn't, because I doubt Martha would be coming in through there.
Ah, okay.
Like she does earlier.
So it is somewhat confusing. We don't know how this all plays out, but we don't care.
It
It's not
is and it
important.
isn't. It's not as confusing again as Son of Frankenstein is.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
That's a good point.
where are we?
Yeah,
even?
why? I thought this fireplace. Oh, I see. It goes through. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all very confusing.
Yeah.
And then Ludwig does a great Igor impression.
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think everybody would notice.
Elsa, get back, get back, get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't do it like his dad would do it. He doesn't do get back.
Back.
Get back.
Get back.
Okay. He does sound like Igor.
He does.
And it's
he does.
good because it's good that he's got an emotion. It's nice to see that something matters to him.
Put yourself in his shoes. The shit's hitting the fan.
That's true.
Every
A lot
which
has
way.
happened, yeah.
Now his daughter is standing there, and the fucking monster is coming right up behind her.
Yep.
But telling her to get back,
Uh-oh.
probably not the best advice.
Yeah, because what does she do?
She turns around and runs
She
straight
turns
into the
around
monster.
to get back.
Yeah, runs straight into Junior.
She does turn around and try to get back.
Yeah,
And
to where
what's
she once
great about it
belonged,
is,
and-
I don't know what Cheney could see, but it looks like she just runs right
Right
into
into
him.
him.
And all he does is, as soon as he feels her touch him, then he pulls his arm out
Yep.
as if to grab her.
Yeah.
It's completely effective, and
No,
it's
it's-
like one of
yeah.
these. It's like a sort of stunt where you're watching a movie and it makes perfect sense, and then you go back and watch it a million times because you have a podcast about it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it kind of looks like she just runs right into him.
Yeah.
But it's really effective.
No, it's
I'm not trying to trash it.
and she lets out one of her patented screams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's her too? I think
Oh,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
She was the Scream Queen. She was the first. Well, okay, Fay Wray was probably the first
original
Scream Queen.
Yeah.
But Elsa was certainly in this era at Universal was
Yeah,
it.
I suppose. Go with
Hated it, but
You mean Evelyn? You said Elsa.
yeah. Well,
Because
okay, yeah.
Well, I'm asking
Yeah, no,
because
yeah.
you don't
Yes.
mean the character. You mean the actress.
Yes,
Because she was
yes.
just in the Wolfman.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And moving forward, everything else she did here was this
yeah.
ilk as well.
Yep. And then, yep.
The doting
already
father,
laughing. The
doting father that he is, Ludwig gets up, runs into another room, and bolts the fucking door.
Yeah, yep.
While
You're not gonna get me.
the monster's carrying his daughter around.
Yeah. Yeah. It is as
he has a reason for this, but
Yep.
it looks the optics
looks
are
bad.
not good.
The optics are not good, but what I actually wrote here is it's perfectly in keeping with Ludwig's character, and that'll play out as we explain why.
Yeah.
But if it didn't, it still would be.
Yeah.
Because he totally seems like the kind of guy that could do that.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, fuck it, I gotta
I
go.
gotta get out of here.
Sorry, you're done. I mean, he's got you.
Sorry,
dear.
We had a good run.
We had a good run.
Yeah.
Tell Eric I'm sorry. I'll tell Eric you're sorry. I'll tell Eric. I'll probably make up a lie. To
Yep.
be honest.
The monster just sort of unceremoniously dumps her onto the ground.
Not yet.
Oh, that's right.
No,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
that's
kind
right.
of interesting because
That's
everything's in a very specific order, and I wrote my notes in that order, and they could be wrong. But I believe what happens next is we cut to inside that room where Ludwig lifts
up a panel.
and behind that are a bunch of knobs.
Yeah.
Like
Faucet
like
handles.
faucet handles.
Knobs, yeah. They're all specific
Sorry,
to...
I was going to try and work in the word silcock. So
But they're all marked
they're
with
all labeled,
specific
and they are labeled
areas.
as follows.
Yeah, okay.
Basement.
Yep.
Ward Hall. Now, Ward Hall, of course, cut my tie off in Chasen's restaurant in 1940.
Yeah.
Surgery, which I would have thought maybe is where he is, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Power, although it's blocked slightly, and there's a bit of a shadow over that one, so I suppose it could be tower, but I don't think there's a
There's
tower.
not a tower. It's
So I
not
guess
that kind
it's
of
just
a
power.
It's not that kind of a building.
It's not that kind of a building. Yeah, it's not.
We
it's
saw-
not an
we
old
saw the
abandoned watchtower on the
exterior.
outskirts of Goldstein.
Saw the exterior of it. It almost looks like a colonial mansion.
It's like, yeah,
which is exactly what it
colonial,
was, because that's the facade they used.
Let's use the same facade. that
You'll
they
see
use
it
for
in.
Roots.
You'll see it throughout.
Oh, really?
Yeah, into the 50s and 60s. I think it's still
Do they
there.
always have that ladder and truck in the background?
Yeah,
that you
no,
can
yeah,
see?
that's
part of it.
that's a fixture. Yeah.
Yeah, power. Okay, and then intake, and then exhaust. And I like I like all of this, but I like intake and exhaust because none of this really makes a lot of sense if you think about it too much. Mm-hmm. But it does tell you what this system is. It's the gas system.
Yeah.
So when you turn the Ward Hall, and indeed he does do the Ward Hall. So that's what this corridor is.
Ward Hall, born in October.
That's right. So this corridor we've been talking about has a name, and the name of it is Ward Hall. Yeah, named after the famous
actor,
Cuban revolutionary Ward Hall.
Ward Hall.
No.
Well, Ward Hall Jr. actually went on to.
Dude, he's great in Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
In the script, there's just one knob.
Yep.
And it's not labeled.
Right.
So I like this better.
I think this is kind of cool.
I think when you go to make a movie like this, and it sounds like you're going to, so keep this in mind.
Yeah, I'll bear
this in mind. You know, a sort of a fantasy film, basically. We're not meant to think that you're supposed to believe that any of this is happening for real. Yeah. So then, if you've just got a bunch of labels on a bunch of knobs because you've got gas that'll knock people out, of course, by all means, label them, spell it out for the audience.
Hide it behind a wooden panel.
Hide it behind a panel. That's great too.
Yep.
Gotta love that.
Okay, then.
So then this is something important because this is why I pointed out that he hasn't dropped her. Is what he does next is Junior slams his shoulder into the door while holding her. Yeah, he's still got a hold of her and he slams his shoulder into the door. And it's not like he's got her in the left arm and he slams his right arm into the door. It's the same arm, isn't it? Or I guess he's kind of got her.
No, he's kind of. Well, no, it's different. It's the other arm. It's the other arm.
All right, well,
because she's.
I kind of picture him going like this, like he's holding her, and I don't know. Anyways, it's funny when you look at it, and it's not funny in real time, I guess. When you're watching the movie, it's great, but like it's funny to think about Evelyn Ankers and Lon Chaney and their relationship. And,
which was such a loving and supportive one.
And he's just he's not quite slamming her head into the door.
That's about it. Yep.
And presumably she's already unconscious because she's fainted. She fainted in that shot where she fell into his arms, basically, and he caught her. He's actually being very
chivalrous.
Yeah. Getting late in the day.
I don't even know anymore.
Then he drops
her, just slumps her onto the floor. Come with me.
Yeah, Lugo, she seems really upset.
Come with me.
What I wrote here is I get that Junior just killed a dude, but doesn't he do that a lot?
Yeah, we encouraged it before.
He just doesn't seem appropriately concerned. I think I get that he is concerned, but I don't know, he's just really changed since the last movie. The last movie, if there was ever a point where you felt like Igor was backed into a corner, he would come out with something great.
Yeah.
You know, when he's in the courtroom or in that court. Yeah. Whatever we called it. What did we decide to call that?
Council chambers.
Council chambers. No matter what they said to him, you knew he was going to be fine.
He had some funny answer.
Yeah. Like, I do nothing. You know, all that. He just is perfect. And then now you've got, come away. Come away. And then, like you said, when the minute, what's the first thing you hear in the minute? Come with me.
Come with me.
Come with me.
To the sea.
Yeah. Great. The sea of love. I want to tell you
that I love you.
How much?
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh dear.
That would be fantastic.
Lugosi breaks into a song.
Turned into that. Ghost of Frankenstein the musical. Come with me.
You know, they're turning everything else into a fucking musical. They might as well.
Might as well.
You know, nothing will make me turn away faster than whatever title, the musical.
Really?
Yeah, tap out, done, gone. Dead to me.
I think that's probably true for me too. I was in London looking for something to do, and a friend of mine said, Jeff, one of our Patreons said, I'm going to Back to the Future the musical again, because he'd already been once.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't really feel like doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I do want to see that. It's probably great, but I can't picture actually on the day. Like, if you say I'm going right now, which happened to me, right? He said I'm going now. Or I bought tickets, it's in 2 hours or whatever. I'm like, I could take a nap. Take a nap. Yeah. Actually, I ended up going to the Battersea Power Station, if you know what that is, from the Pink Floyd album cover.
It's also, isn't that where they shot the...
I just saw
Find
it
the
in
fish
something.
in Meaning of Life. I think that's there as well.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. You know what? You're right. There was a if I had gone when they were open, there's a tour and they show you stuff like that.
Okay.
There's a video online you can see of that where they show a display of all the different movies that were made there. Anyways.
And maybe Brazil.
Well, that makes sense.
I think it's part maybe, yeah. Anyway.
Could be. Is that so? When in Brazil,
Yes.
when Michael Palin's got the weird mask on, and I can't think of the guy's name, is in the
Jonathan
chair.
Pryce.
Jonathan Pryce is strapped to that chair, and then inside, you look like
There
you're
is-
inside a giant Battersea power station.
It's a
smokestack.
it's a silo from a nuclear power plant.
So they actually did that in there.
Yeah.
Nice. I
And
suppose that's the
there
best
was a
way to do it,
drop.
rather
You
than
could
build
see
one.
it. There's like a 20-foot drop. They built that platform
Yeah.
out into the middle of it.
Yeah.
But there are shots where you can see it's a long way down.
That Palin, we could have.
They could have lost.
Could have been his last voyage, his last
national
trip.
treasure.
Yeah. Okay. Something interesting happens. Then now he's just leaving a pile of bodies on the floor, which I
Yeah.
love. They,
Yeah.
they actually show the floor,
Yeah.
and the bodies are
Bodies
fucking
are-
piling up.
And then
This is officially a rampage.
yes.
2 or more is a rampage.
Then the gas.
Igor
starts-
will be on the floor momentarily.
Yes, he will. The gas starts coming out, and it's either Evelyn Onkers and Barton Yarborough or their doubles. Just
on-
take a face full of it because
Yeah.
it's just right
It
in their
blasts
faces.
right on their faces.
Yeah,
That's
and
true.
that shit was awful.
Was it? Are you assuming it's the
Oil based. It has
based,
to. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's pretty much what it was at that time.
Well, let's hope it was their. It probably wasn't, though, was it? It was probably
doubles.
their. Like Barton Yarborough wasn't gonna get a double.
Evelyn might have.
Evelyn maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess not there either.
Well, no, I mean,
Not for
because
Ghost of
she laid in
Frankenstein.
she laid on the
You signed
floor.
up for this.
She laid on the floor in it for hours in the Wolfman to the point where she passed out, and they kind of forgot about her.
I didn't know this story.
Yeah.
This will come up again when we do our Wolfman special. We still don't know what we're doing.
I don't
Should we
know, yeah.
introduce a new level so people can recommend what to do about the Wolfman?
For $8 a month.
You can tell us
can
what
tell
you
us
think
what
we should
we
do.
do, yeah.
Not going to change anything, but and then something I think really interesting happens.
Hmm.
Igor, come with me, gets slammed into the wall by
the monster just
Junior.
sort of-
Junior
Junior
just
just, like,
slams him into the wall,
fuck off.
and we're not done with this. More is going to happen in another, much later. But it's interesting because Junior doesn't seem as enamored of Igor as Karloff's
Karloff
monster.
was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he doesn't listen to him. He doesn't, he's
wanders off.
He kind of wanders off.
Like
yeah.
like a problem child.
Now he's
yeah.
beating the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
he's just sick of being talked to. Like, it's Frankenstein. Don't call me that. Fucking bam.
you.
Put him in the wall. I don't know. He really does. He slams him into the wall.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then he passes out. But it just takes him about 10 seconds to do so. There's a long extended shot of Lugosi
He's milking
doing the I'm choking on this gas. But nobody's fault, and I'm not faulting it. It could either be Lugosi milking it, Kenton trying to say, we need to understand what's happening here. We're not sure people will understand. You're choking.
Yeah.
Go. And you can really see his wig is kind of funny in the back.
Yeah.
He's got a bit that pokes out a little
Popping
bit
up
of
a
an
little bit,
alfalfa thing out the back way, or more like maybe like a I don't know, Leif Garrett or somebody would have had one of those
Little feather,
little something, zinging out the back.
Yeah.
And then finally he succumbs, or does that
to the
happen
gas.
in this
Yeah,
minute?
no, yeah, he succumbs to the gas. And then Junior staggers around like a big dope for a while.
Maybe 5 more seconds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time devoted to this, and we'll see the payoff next week.
right.
But at least right now, I think it does some good to compare Junior's performance stumbling around with this gas to the performance of Boris Karloff in the movie Frankenstein after being hit injected with a hypodermic.
Heavy 5-grain solution.
Yeah, that's right. It was was it 5-grain
Something
solution?
like that,
Half-grain solution?
No, it was
Or am
high-
I getting
it
that
was-
mixed up with?
It was high. It was a
What was the?
because I looked it up at the time and it was a pretty hefty.
Oh, I'm thinking a
dose.
7% solution.
Oh yeah,
from
that's
the
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. But yeah, no, that I remember talking about that minute and how just effective it is.
Yeah.
Karloff did this amazing childlike.
Childlike just doesn't understand.
What's happening. What is this? Why when I
do
move my hands like this?
Why do I feel like this?
Yeah. And Cheney stumbles around
like a big dope.
Like a big dope. That's why we love him.
Sorry, Mike.
Yep.
But I will say,
I'm gonna see if Mike said anything about this minute.
I will say here, this particular shot The makeup on Chaney is great. It's probably
That's
the
true.
best it's been in the entire film so far.
This
Because there's some shading to the cheeks to make them sort of a little more sunken in. That's I don't know. That
I noticed
works.
when he slams Lugosi, that dot. I can see the dot. And
Well,
it
that's
always
still
looks like
that's
shit.
always there, and it always looks terrible.
Yeah.
But the shading, the forehead pieces blended in at the sides much better.
Okay.
And that's not always the case in this movie. There
Yeah.
are times we've referred to where it looks like somebody's uncle in a Frankenstein costume for Halloween.
This was like, Jack, we're still lighting the ward hall. You go ahead. You got 20 more minutes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish doing your makeup for the first time in this movie.
Or, this could have been shot very early on. And
they got lazy later,
they got
or
lazy, or
Chaney got
just
fed up.
got
more and more
uncooperative.
uncooperative is a good word.
And Jack was like, okay, fuck you then.
Yeah.
Because I know that's his attitude towards Chaney, was sort of like, fuck you.
Oh, really?
I'm the guy that does this.
Yeah.
You sit here and take it.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody is Boris Karloff. In fact, there was only one.
Yeah.
Because everybody else that talks about Jack Pierce said he was an asshole.
Strange?
No. I think he liked him too. Yeah.
I thought Strange liked
Yeah.
him.
But
And
certainly-
Lugosi's opinion of such things is his story is so suspect. It's hard to even know what to
I don't
think
even
about
know what
anything
to believe.
he's
Well,
accused of saying.
I've started reading those Becoming Dracula, the
Yeah.
Gary Don Rhodes. I just started reading it.
Okay.
And they'll like, yeah, you know what? He lied about this, so he made this up. And his biography, when in his childhood, he was the poorest of poor, or they had an affluent upbringing. It changed all the time.
And then you find out it's...
And then they have one thing where he filled out a form and put his birth date, 1882, and then he turned the 2 into an 8 after the fact. It's so obvious.
I've actually seen that, yeah. I don't know where, it must have been a documentary or something.
So,
yeah. What a weirdo.
Whatever he said, take it with a grain of salt.
You know what's weird about it is, it still remains to me so bizarre that the way we spend so much time talking about these fucking movies.
It is weird, yeah.
But that Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi were middle-aged when they became these stars.
Yeah.
And even Lon Chaney's not 25.
Yeah, right.
But his changing that 2 to an 8 is a great career choice to make.
It's done all the time.
Yeah, done all the time. Yeah.
No, I'm not judging him at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying take
what he
says with
or
a grain
what
of
people
salt.
say he said is even more.
Yeah. Got any more questions, wise ass?
All right, well, that sound of us talking about the Patreon wise ass comments, it can only mean one thing.
It's the Patreon.
It's time for the Patreon wise ass comments, brought to you by the Patreon wise asses at patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute.
I want to thank all our wise asses.
Sign up at the wise ass level, and you can get copies of the minutes before we record, even.
Yep. Before we've even
seen them. Yeah. Before the movies even come out. Well, no, wait, the movies came out many decades ago. Yeah,
Well,
so that's an exaggeration that I'm making
that's
there.
That's a Lugosiism.
Yeah, it came. That's right. It was only 80 years ago, not 5 minutes
not 80,
from now.
Yeah. Not 80
Not
minutes.
tomorrow or
not
next
80
week.
minutes ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You can leave a comment, and we will read it, as I am about to do now. Mike Herman. Oh, interesting. I like this very much. This is turning out great, actually.
Okay.
Mike Herman says, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman was a part of my Halloween viewing. So
sure.
People who don't know when we record things won't know that it was just Halloween.
Yes.
It is a total redemption tour de force for Chaney Jr. in comparison to this one.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't surprise me. I think I've said in the past, and you've said it even better in the past, so you've said that Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is a great Wolfman movie.
Right.
I think what you've usually said is it's a better Wolfman movie than a Frankenstein movie, which is true, too.
I'd say it's a better Wolfman movie than the Wolfman.
Oh, that's right. Better than... Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But it is, the Wolfman parts of it are great.
Yeah.
The Frankenstein parts of it are terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
Yeah.
We'll see how we like it.
How that plays
We'll see how
out.
you like it when we have to do
See how you like it
for 80 weeks.
Yeah.
But
no, I don't dislike the film. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just wish that certain choices had not been made.
Yeah, there's that. So the thing I remember about it too is Chaney in particular, his character in The Wolfman, in an effort it appears to make him likable, they make him pretty unlikable.
Yes.
and some of that is the social mores of the time, and some of it is just, some of it honestly is kind of Chaney.
Yeah.
Like he's not well suited to that. Like like if I don't know, if Cary Grant was behaving the way Chaney behaves in The Wolfman, you might think it was sort of cute. But when Chaney does it, it's creepy.
Because there's a difference in their styles. And who they are,
Yeah. Cary Grant spying on a lady in her bedroom.
It would be funny.
It'd be probably funny, yeah. And maybe there's, again, social mores of the time, but it's hard to forgive some of that.
Yeah,
still
it really
to this
is
day.
very. Well, and I just think he gives a much better performance, much more self-assured performance in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Yeah, it's his second time in.
Than he does in the Wolfman, because he's either creepy or whiny in the Wolfman, and in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, he has a purpose. It's a much more assured performance on his part. He just seems more comfortable in the role.
He's the best thing in it.
He is,
which is interesting, which is great. Thank you, Mike, for writing in.
Yes.
Because I've been trashing him for months, and not only is it great timing because I just was talking about how much I enjoyed him breaking down that door and killing that guy.
Yep.
I think he does that very well.
Yes.
I wouldn't change any of it.
No.
In fact, I wouldn't substitute anybody either. I think he does that dumb brute stuff better than Carl.
Oh yeah,
and probably better than Strange, but probably close to Strange.
I mean, Strange just never had the opportunities to demonstrate what he could do with it.
Yeah, we'll have to watch.
Two of the films, he's in it for like 5 minutes, if that.
Seems like it.
In the third film, they use him really well, but he just isn't given a lot to expand upon.
Yeah, yep. So there. So thank you for saying that, because I welcome the opportunity to talk about the fact that I do like Lon Chaney Jr. And next season I will like.
I want to make it clear that yes, I do like Lon Chaney Jr. a lot.
Yeah.
I just think this film is not a good example.
Well, especially since we are now a Lon Chaney Jr. podcast. He's not going away. Ever.
Every film we go through going forward. Yeah.
And
not
we're grateful for that.
Not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're grateful for it. He
if he weren't in House of Dracula, I think it would suffer. And even he's very subdued in that.
Yeah, he's different in that. He's mustache Chaney in that.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
That always does it.
Yeah.
You put a mustache on a guy, nothing like
classes him up like this.
But he's great in House of Frankenstein. He's the star of Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. He's great. If you think he saves House of Dracula, we'll watch for that.
I don't know if he saves it, but he's.
But I also go ahead.
He's one of the stronger things in it. Yeah. Oslo Stevens is really good.
I think so. Yeah. And I like some of the John Carradine stuff. I just really like that movie. I can't wait to talk about it. But I also like him in Bud Abbott, Lou Costello, and Frankenstein.
He's really good in that.
He's really good in that. He gets a lot of scenes where you could easily see somebody completely fall apart and not be able to pull it off. He's playing the Wolfman against
Lou Costello. Yeah, that's not an easy task.
That can't be easy.
Yeah, that's not an easy task.
So yes, I welcome your comment, Mike. This fucking crazy Patreon thing is finally paying off. No, I don't know. All right. And then also, Dr. Alex Zorka is back.
All right.
Our listeners will recognize that name from the movie.
He had a very astute comment a few weeks back.
About Ludwig being the older son.
Yes.
It is now Frankenstein Minute canon.
Yep.
I don't know. Who cares?
Well,
here
Dr.
he comes.
Alex Zorka cares.
Well, we'll see what he says here.
Okay.
You boys are sure critical and picky over Hans J. Salter's score for The Ghost of Frankenstein. Now, I'm going to have to stop you right there. What did we do here?
That's you, I think.
Oh, what did I say? When was... the score did something funny in 1 minute.
Yeah.
There was 1 minute where I thought the score was a little silly.
Early on,
I then read a comment from someone who agreed with me. Before I said it, that is.
Early on, though, we did, there's sort of that, when Chaney is struck by lightning, it has sort of that Superman TV show.
Yeah. If I said anything critical of that, I
said something critical of it. Okay. Dino has said a lot of critical about it.
It's maybe just a little bit much, but it's really not.
Overall, the score is really good.
Overall, the score is really good. Dr. Alex Zorka says, I think it's one of his best at Universal. Maybe Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is a little better.
Yep.
I think part of the problem is that the jarring music you don't like when I think Igor starts to leave Ludwig's home and leers at Elsa is that it wasn't mixed properly on the soundtrack. That absolutely
could very well be.
Because it did seem just odd.
Yeah.
It might have worked better if that small piece of music was just a little lower in volume. It's supposed to signify Igor's dominance, evil vibe, call it what you will, over the the surroundings for the moment. It's a variation of his theme that he plays on his shepherd's horn earlier that Salter kind of used as Igor's theme music. Huh.
That's true.
I didn't notice that. I'm sure some of you have noticed over the years that Salter used a bit of music from The Ghost of Frankenstein later in his score for The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
There was a term they would use, is Salterism.
Okay.
Where it was reusing little themes and little snippets.
Well, the way he writes it is Salter used, because a lot of the movies, it's not Salter doing it. There's someone just go to the
Pivar would
library and get us some stuff.
The music director, would.
Yeah. Don't record a new version of it or anything. Just fucking grab the tape and use that.
Yep.
And here he says Salter used a bit of music from Ghost of Frankenstein later in his score for the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then he, in parentheses, although not all of the Creature score was his, didn't Henry Mancini contribute to some of it? Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that in Creature from the Black Lagoon Minute.
Yep.
Actually, we could probably do Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Creature from the Black Lagoon is a great movie. It's a great design for the monster.
Yeah.
I just don't...
The creature.
I don't...
It doesn't matter.
The Gill Man, whatever you want to call him. What I don't...
What the fuck is... Why did everybody call him Gill Man? Did they say that in one of the movies?
Yeah, I think they do.
Oh, they must. Okay.
I just don't think he should be lumped in with the 30s and 40s monsters because it's a whole different style.
Yeah. I think I've never even seen them all. I've seen Creature.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Creature. I don't think I've seen Creature Walks Among Us.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah. It's the last gasp. Literally. Yeah.
He shouldn't be walking among us.
What it does is it takes a great monster and reduces it to, again, a lumbering brute.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, they pull a Son of Frankenstein on it.
Actually, the Mummy was the worst offender.
Same thing, yeah.
So we got Frankenstein that happens to, Creature that happens to, Mummy that happens to. Mm-hmm. The only reason it doesn't happen for Dracula, really, is due to the efforts of, for one example, Lon Chaney Jr. Mm-hmm. He doesn't reduce it to him to just a monster. He's at least trying to be whatever.
Yeah.
And I think same for Carradine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they just didn't do a lot with Dracula like they did with the others.
That's true.
Of the big 3 or 4, you know, the Frankenstein monster, Dracula, Wolfman, and the Mummy, Dracula appears the least of, and does the least of all of those.
I suppose that's
until we get to, but Abbott Costello.
Yeah, when he's kind of redeemed a bit.
Yeah.
He's
not even really Dracula. He doesn't do too many Dracula things. He's more like a mad scientist.
You even see him in a mirror.
Yeah. But I think it's one of Lugosi's best performances.
Okay.
He's very assured in that as well.
So rank Lugosi's performances. Number 1 is Son of Frankenstein. Then what?
Oh boy.
That's where it gets tough.
It gets tough. I mean,
the question is whether it's Ghost. Is that up there?
No,
it's got to be. Why not?
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
Actually, there's too much opinion in all this stuff.
I'd have to really.
I think he's the only reason to watch White Zombie, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
yep. Yeah, I agree. Anyway,
is he good in Death Kiss?
Death Kiss, he was good. Yeah, because he's not playing he's a
gangster.
No, he's just the head of the studio. He's playing a straight role, and he's very good.
Okay,
good. Very subdued and none of the overacting. And it's fun to see him and Van Sloan and David Manners again. Together.
Yeah, that's crazy. The old the gang
get the band back together.
Where's Fry?
He was in the Vampire Bat.
That's true.
Majestic at the time.
Oh, the comic book just came out. The Universal Monsters #1.
Yeah.
Dracula.
Do you have it?
I did. I went and got it. I went to a local comic book store in Invergrove Heights where I live. They have a comic book store.
I'll have to find it somewhere.
And they had 3 copies and I got one. Yeah.
I'll have to try to find that somewhere then.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how I like the artwork of it. I could see somebody not liking the artwork of it. So
is it just the movies then sort of in comic book form?
It is, but there's no attempt made to make him look like Lugosi. So I assume we still got that issue where they didn't want to pay the money. Yeah. But that's kind of true of everybody. So I didn't read the whole thing yet. I've just flipped through it. Mm-hmm. There's shots or drawings, I guess, where I can tell this is supposed to be Mina because I remember that scene in the movie or whatever. But they don't make the characters look like the actors necessarily. But especially Renfield. They make Renfield look like totally whack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is great. It's all really well. What are you doing? Ordering a copy?
Well, I was seeing if I can find it.
When I tried to find it, I had it direct me to a comic book store. So go to a comic book store and see if they have it.
Yeah, is that it?
Yes, that's one of the covers, and I believe that's the one I got.
Okay.
because there were 3. There was one other choice that I really was tempted.
What did you pay for it, you know?
$4, I think.
Okay, because they're selling it for
It's also part 1.
20
It's not the whole thing.
$20 here.
I think
Are you
this
out of your
week there
fucking
might be an issue 2. But here are the alternate covers.
Okay.
This one is pretty cool, but this one's just completely white. It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like the first one's white and then it slowly turns black or red or something. But if so, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
I
an
mean,
odd.
It's an odd thing. But the art in the comic is more like this. So if you look at that cover on the right and think that looks like shit,
painting
don't,
like that?
Yeah, don't bother. But I like it.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, you ain't gonna like it. What it kind of reminds me of is, because I'm old. Do you remember in the 80s or maybe even the 70s when Frank Miller started drawing Daredevil?
Oh yeah.
It had that you'd see shit that looked like it was kind of smudged like that, or
yeah.
painted
He
or
used-
whatever, like
he used some
watercolor.
different inking techniques.
Yeah, and it reminds me of that. But
Okay.
again, I'm old, so somebody will probably tell me, no, it's
more like-
it's called this. The
Yeah.
style has been in comics for 20 years, and you sound like an old man.
There was I had a Batman graphic novel, Arkham Asylum, that looked like that.
Yep, I think I know the one you mean. He Miller did a couple of important Batmans. He did
Batman,
The Dark Knight
Returns and Dark Knight Rises again.
Yep, and then there was another one. Did he do like Batman Year
One, yeah.
That one kind of looks like that, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just not a Batman guy.
he used to be
Yeah.
till they ruined him.
Okay.
Yeah,
They ruined him?
I don't know. I think I'm just bored with all of it.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that.
You know, I was excited that Michael Keaton was returning as Batman, but
And
the
then
movie,
they ruined it.
the
Yeah.
movie that he's in looks like absolute shit, so I'm not going to bother.
I have heard good things about it, so don't give up on it if it looks like shit. I shouldn't say that. I haven't watched it because I think it looks like shit.
Okay.
So what do I know?
Yep.
What I just learned about that movie yesterday, and the movie we're talking about is The Flash. There was an interview with Nicolas Cage talking about AI and how it's a scary thing, how they can bring people and just put them in movies without their permission or whatever. Or going forward, that's one of the things they're fighting for with the strike and all that.
The strikes, yeah.
But he's in the movie.
Yeah.
He's in the movie. He went there. He was there. If you've seen the shot of him.
I've seen the picture of it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen way more than you. I've seen the full shot. It's like 1 second.
Okay.
Like you've seen the picture. You've basically
You've
seen it.
that, okay.
Well, it turns out they had him come in and look like he's looking at something, because that's what movies are.
Yeah.
Especially comic book
Nowadays,
movies. You don't. It's all green screen.
Yeah.
And then he found out later they changed their minds because he's not looking at what he thought he was looking at. So that's kind of amusing. But what's even more amusing is they de-aged him.
Yep.
For a shot that he's standing there for maybe 2 seconds. It can't be much longer than that. Like, why do you bother? I was actually kind of impressed. Like,
Yeah.
they actually brought Nicolas Cage
Yeah,
in. He is in that movie.
That had to cost some money to
I
do
think
that.
so, yeah. Would it be cheaper to just say, look, we'll make up a wax dummy like we did for Dracula's daughter,
Yeah.
and just stand that
Well,
up and
they could
de-age
just
that?
CGI him completely.
You'd think.
Yeah.
How hard would that be?
Yeah.
You know what you haven't seen yet, because you told me already today? And maybe we'll finish on this note. I don't know.
All right.
The new Beatles,
The
video.
Yeah.
Some people shouldn't be allowed to have computers. That's all I'm saying. I fucking hate it.
Peter Jackson is one of them.
And what I hate most about it is you should first read an interview with him where he talks about making the video. He said, I didn't want to make the video, but I did want to see the video, or something like that. You know, it's like this whole personal story. And then he says, they gave me 14 hours of footage from the 90s when the surviving Beatles were recording all those
doing
songs.
The anthology stuff, yeah.
Including hours, he uses the word hours, of footage of them recording this song. Which, if you listen to this song, there's no evidence of that whatsoever. Right. You have there's no way you could prove to me that George Harrison's on that song. There's no audible way to tell. So I was like, oh, great, the video's going to kind of help with that. It's going to show them singing and playing.
Sure.
And sure enough, there's one shot that lasts 2 seconds where you can clearly see George is playing guitar and Paul's sitting next to him at the piano, and he's singing those words.
Okay.
It's like, okay, there's your proof. But that's it. That's what you get. They gave him hours of what we want to see. At least as a Beatles fan, what I want to see is all 14 hours of footage of them in the 90s. Because there was bitching.
Oh, yeah.
You know George stormed out several times. I want all of that footage. And what we get is we get what I just said, those 2 seconds, and then maybe 10 or 12 other seconds interspersed here and there. I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's a full 30 seconds. But it's like,
I'll have to watch it.
But when you do watch it, it's the other stuff that it's astonishing to me.
All right.
Computers, folks.
Yeah, they suck.
They suck. So thanks for listening to this podcast
On your computer.
on your computer, presumably, or some device.